So in this week's video, we're talking beer, brassicas, tomatoes, and planting out those peas. So it's time to get our peas in the ground. What we've done is dug a nice little trench here in the soil. I'm just going to give that a water. I'll just put some fertiliser in there, some chicken manure pellets. I'm just going to give that a good water in. And then it's a case of grabbing our tubes. So these are the tubes from the guttering that was in the polytunnel. It should be just a case of taking off the, we'll take off the tape off the end. And then it's just a case of actually just giving it a little bit of a shake and just running the tube out and sitting those down in there. And once we've done that, we just need to put a little bit of soil back round just to get those in. And then we'll just water them in. Over the top. And that's our peas from our guttering in. And then what I'm going to do is just get a little bit of fleece and just wrap that around these posts here for the time being, just to protect these from the pigeons really, from anything, and also just give them a bit of protection from any cold at night, because they have come from the polytunnel where it is quite warm. So let me show you that again on the next ones. So this is our other set of peas, and again, it's just take the tape off the end, get it near the end, give it a bit of a shake. Let's give it a little push from this end just to help it along. And then it's just a case of gliding the tube out. And there we have it, peas in. Just put a bit of that soil back round, a bit of soil around this side. Make sure we haven't buried the label. And give them a water in. And it really is that simple. It's actually so easy just using the guttering. You can get them sown indoors, and then when they're nice and ready to come out, you can just like put them straight into the ground. So I've got one more set to put in, and then we're going to fleece them round. So we had what is likely to be our coldest night for the rest of the month last night. It got down to -1.5 here. But we were well prepared. We had the paraffin heaters on in the polytunnel and the greenhouse, so in here the temperatures didn't drop below about 5 degrees. But everything is looking quite good, so let's have a quick look. So as you can see, the tomatoes are all doing quite good. All the lettuce is still growing lovely, and we've got our loofahs in down the bottom there, and the grapevine is just like taking off. The only tomatoes that we've had problems with is this Tutti Frutti one and this limoncello one. So those two tomatoes are like such princesses, they really are. There's like sort of, when it's a little bit too hot, they flake over. And it's like, oh, it's too hot. Oh no, it's too cold. Oh, I'm really thirsty. I haven't got any water. Oh no, you've given me too much water. They literally are so particular about their growing conditions. So if they do grow, and we do actually get them to grow, they better have some good tomatoes on them, because they are true princesses of the actual tomato world. They are so difficult to keep going. We have got some spares just in case they do completely flake out, but as I say, every other tomato is doing fine and it's just happy as Larry. But those two are just really finicky about their growing conditions. you think they're too dry, so you give them a bit of water and they perk up a little bit, and then they seem to flake over a bit. And then as soon as it gets a little bit hot, they flake over. You come down in the morning, all the other ones are ready to go. Those two are looking like, oh, it was really cold last night and I never had my duvet. They are just so finicky. But fingers crossed, it's a challenge. And I like a challenge, so I'm going to see if we can get them to grow. So we'll have a quick check on the single seed potatoes, which we potted on. So these are the single seed potatoes. I've just potted them on into these, I didn't have enough pots, so I had to use 3 bags. So I've just potted those into here just as they're just starting to grow. Primarily I potted them on because the actual pots that they were in, they were getting a little bit root bound in there. So although I haven't got much growth in terms of leaf, there's plenty of root underneath. So we potted those on. In terms of the other potatoes, some of these are coming up. The Jemison are coming up. We put the fleece over these last night because it was so cold. The Penton and Javelin ones are coming up. The Jazzy ones are coming up. And I think just about, which surprised me, which these are the first earlies, the Charlotte potatoes are just about coming through. So all the potatoes are looking good. And on the bed over there, we've hoed down the rest of the green manure. So the next task on the list is to get the Dahlias in. And we get those into this bed that's behind me, and also we need to clear the bed that's over there because we're going to be planting our Brassicas this weekend. But before we do any of that, I'm going to get some nematode solution and water all the beds. I've been holding off until we've had some wet weather, and we've had a little bit of wet weather. You see it's quite cloudy around, but we've had nowhere near as much rain here as they perhaps have in the rest of the country. We've had a few sprinklings, but nothing torrential or nothing that lasted more than about half an hour. But I want to start getting some plants in, and so I'm going to mix up some nematode solution and get that watered on the beds, and then we can finish clearing the bed of any weeds and then start planting Dahlias and put the Brassicas in. Now, nematodes are slugs' worst enemy well, apart from blackbirds, I suppose. So I'm going to show you how we're going to make this up. So what you need for this is a pack of nematodes. Now, when you're using these, they just come as like a powder form like this. And when you order these, don't order them too early. Only order them when you need them because they don't keep forever. They do have an expiry date. I think these ones have got an expiry date of the end of April, so they only keep for about sort of 2 to 3 weeks. When they do arrive, if you're not ready to use them straight away, you need to store them in the fridge because otherwise they'll die off. So what you do basically is you mix up a bucket with sort of 4 or 5 litres of water. Then let's open this packet up. Should have brought me scissors. And then what you do is you just pour the whole packet into there. And we're going to just soak that packet in there just to make sure that we got everything out. So these are completely safe to handle. It's not going to do you any harm. So now we've got our solution, which is just like full of nematodes. You just need to keep that stirred up all the time when you're using it because they will settle out to the bottom. So each time you take some, so that is your stock solution. Now what we're going to do is we've got our watering can here, and we're going to take about half a litre of that solution, and we're just going to put that into our watering can. And we're going to take our stick with us. Now I'm using, it says to me it makes half a litre with 5 litres of water. I'm actually mixing half a litre with 10 litres of water because I want to soak the beds a little bit as well. The other thing you'll need to do is, if I show you this, is you'll need a really wide hose rows. So it's not too small because otherwise the nematodes won't get out. I've just taken a plastic one and I've drilled it out. And then once you've given it a thing, it's just a case of watering it on. And then if it's particularly dry weather, you'll just need to water the beds for that. So that is what we're going to be doing. We're going to mix up this and we're going to put half a litre of this into each one of these cans and we're going to water the whole plot. And then if it's particularly dry and we don't get any rain tomorrow, we'll water the beds again just to get them to actually bed in so they don't dry out. One thing you mustn't let it do is while they're getting established is don't let the beds dry out completely, otherwise that will kill them off. So that is our slug nematodes, and hopefully, now they'll take about 10 days to 2 weeks to actually get into full activity. But when they do, what they'll do is if they come across any slugs or any slugs come across them, they can actually get inside the slugs and kill them off. So it's completely child, it says on here, child and pet safe, pesticide free. So it's a completely natural barrier for slugs. And we'll be putting it all over our beds before we put some planting in there to make sure we've got a good resistance to slugs. The other thing we'll be doing is potentially we'll be doing some beer traps as well, but we'll talk about that on a later video. So I'm going to get on and do this, and we'll catch you in the morning when we'll be planting up the flower bed. So it's a nice morning this morning. So it's a bit overcast, but that's fine. And the drizzle has stopped. So I'm going to get these dahlias in today. So I've had these up in pots, and some of these have started to sprout already. So just going to dig a hole and get those in. A similar case, get a nice hole there. We've got lots of grass and bits on here. And you see even it's only just been in the pot a little while, the root system on it is all already searching out. And it's ready to go. So just going to put that in there, bed that in. Now, dahlias, the slugs absolutely love them. And we've already lost some carrots down in the Brassica cage. We put some carrots in there the other day, and they'd all come up, and we had a nice little row of seedlings in there. But having gone down there this morning, I can see that all of those seedlings have disappeared, and I suspect it's the slugs have actually got in there and gone through and munched the lot. So I'm going to put some more of those in later on, and then we're also going to put in some beer traps, which I'll show you as well. The other thing that I'm going to put in this bed is we have got some cosmos that we've potted on for home. We've also got some spare cosmos that are still in the tray, so we're just going to plant those out in clumps. Now, one of the things I need to do here is just mark these off, so I'm going to go and get some sticks. So I'm just going to get some of these sticks, and we've got more planted already. I'm just going to put a stick in the ground next to each plant, because although some of them are sprouting up, other ones are still just putting their roots down and haven't really grown anything on top yet. So I just need to make sure that I know where they are, so that when I come to plant other stuff in this bed and other flowers, I know what we're dealing with. So let's get these in, and then we'll get some of the cosmos in as well. So that's the Dahlias in. We've got these little, can't show it. Got these little leftover cosmos that we put in a tray and we haven't thinned out. So along the middle part of here, I'm just gonna, God, this is sort of still quite firm in places. A bit of moisture down the bottom there though. And I'm just gonna go and grab like a handful out of that tray and just put those in there, and we'll do that all the way along, so we'll have some cosmos in the middle, and then we've got a little bit of space down the side for some calendula, and we'll also dot in and around some of the straw flowers as well, but we'll let those grow on a little bit in the polytunnel first because they're still quite small. So obviously we're going to have a problem with the slugs with the Dahlias, and we've always already had a problem with the slugs and the carrots, so we're going to start putting down some slug deterrent. We put the nematodes on, but they'll take a couple of weeks to actually kick in and reduce the population, but they won't completely eradicate it. So a lot of people used to use slug pellets on this allotment site, but all the slug pellets nowadays are like sort of all wildlife safe, and they're not the old toxic stuff that you used to get. And what we found on this site is actually that you put down slug pellets on something, and actually just the mice and the rats come in and just eat them. I mean, it can't be good for them surely, but it just encourages pests. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with beer traps. Now I've got the old traditional style of beer traps, which is like the little cup and the little lid that sits on top. Now these are quite good, but I've always found you need to put some sort of stone or something on top of them. Otherwise the lids just go off, and also they're quite prone to actually water getting into them. So I'm having another go this year. I've got some of these plastic pots, and what I've done is carefully with a knife, try not to split it, I've just cut some little holes in the side, and then we'll fill those up with some beer, and then we can just put the lid on and put them in. So I'm going to get those in the ground. We're going to put, I think, what I will do at some point is run through these in a bit more detail, because at the moment I've just got some cans of lager that we had left over at home. But I'm interested to see whether actually you can put like lager, beer, or you can make your own solution for these, which is like sort of a yeast and sugar and flour mix. So I'm interested to see which ones are most effective. So in a future video, what I'll do is I'll be setting up some of these slug traps with different solutions in them and see which one is most effective. So if you want to catch that, don't forget to subscribe for when that one comes out, because we'll be doing that in the next couple of weeks. Right, where's my little shovel? So I think we'll put one down in the front here. So just dig a little hole for it. There we go, that'll do. Just going to place that down in there and put its lid there. Now all you need to do is just make sure that actually all the way around this, it's not so it's coming right up to the surface. It doesn't need to be necessarily to the surface, but just so that the slugs can get along and they can get into the trap. And I think we'll put this one down over here, and then we can compare the capture rate in each area and in each type of cup to see which is the most effective. So I'm just going to dig a deeper hole. I'm not sure these need to be quite as deep as big as they are. It's just the cups that I actually happen to get a hold of. Just going to put that down in there so that the top of the trap is level with the ground. And we'll put some soil around that just to bed it in. let's just make sure that it's nice and easy for the slugs to get in there. I mean, they'll crawl up anywhere anyway, so it's not a major issue if it's not completely level. In fact, you don't want it completely level because you don't want the wash off from any rain to go into there. So let's take the lid off of that. And let's get some stuff in there. Now we're just using beer, premium beer as well. It's just been knocking around at home. I'm not a great big drinker at home. So I think this is actually, I mean, we're in April. I think this has been left over from Christmas. So I'm just going to tip that in there. Nice and foamy. You can smell the yeast from it already, just from the beer, and that's what attracts them. It's actually the yeasts and stuff. So we're going to put about a similar amount in there. So that's those filled up. Don't mind if I do. Lovely, nice morning's cans left over. Breakfast of the heroes. So we're going to get those set up and find a little rock to put on top of that other one. And a little rock just hanging around. And we will check in on those in a few days' time and see how they're doing. And the advantage of the clear pots is the fact that you can actually see into them, so you can see if there's still liquid here, whereas here you have to come along and take the lids off and see what's in there. But we'll maybe have a slug weigh in to see which one's captured the most slugs. So the next job on today's list is to get the brassicas into the other bed. So we've got quite a few brassicas. We're going to plant out about half of the ones that we've got in the greenhouse, just in case the slugs get onto them and will they get damaged and stuff like that. So we've got a few to replace them. But in the meantime, I will leave you all to get on. Have a lovely time in your allotments and in your gardens, and we will catch up with you next week. Cheers.